Heyo, it's me, Harper Savage, and today we're going to be working in How Much Art Can You Make by Chantel Arts. The first prompt we're going to be doing is create the ultimate fashion look you'd love to try. Where's the style? I read that backwards, but it's fine. So for this one, I actually did draw it on a separate piece of paper because I plan on using alcohol marker, so let me get that. Alright, here it is. This is the sketch. As you can see, I have something over where the gutter is going to be, but I kind of plan on cutting each shape out individually and putting it on the page, and I might lose one of these boots because I don't think there's enough room for everything. But let me go ahead and ink this so we can skip to the fun part of coloring. So I did struggle a lot with this one because fashion is really not my thing. I wear a t-shirt and shorts unless I'm going out, and then I wear like pants. So needless to say, I don't love this prompt. But I decided to draw one of my OCs. His name is Aaron in like an alternative kind of fashion, just because I do like that fashion. I don't know if I could pull it off myself or not. I used to kind of dress that way when I was in school, but not to this extent. But I kind of grew out of it. I don't know if it's really grown out of it or just more caring of where my money goes. But I drew him in this pose just because I wanted to show that he wasn't really comfortable with this kind of clothes, I guess, because it's not really what he dresses up in either. He kind of is like me, t-shirt and pants, but he also wears like an oversized hoodie most of the time. So that's why that's interesting pose. Now, this character has been with me for a long time. I don't really have a story really connecting to him anymore. He's just like an OC that I draw sometimes now. He used to be a vampire, and then vampires got popular because, you know, that Twilight trash, and then I switched over to more like of a zombie kind of story, and then zombies got popular because of Walking Dead or whatever, and then I did a Demons and Angels type of thing, and then, you know, that fizzy pop or whatever thing happened. So he's kind of just floating out there in the middle of nothing, really, not doing anything anymore. But yeah, so I went ahead and drew him in an interesting outfit. And he doesn't normally have that big of a chest. It's just the corset, I guess, kind of makes it look like it's being pushed out. It looks a bit more femme than I really wanted. But he has like a wolf cut kind of hairstyle, and sometimes his hair is red and sometimes it's blonde. And it's not because he changes his hair color all the time, it's because I can't decide what I want it to be, because in the original story his hair was red, and I had to change it because he was looking to Disney princess, especially with the name that also made him seem like a Disney princess. And then he started looking a lot like Link from Breath of the Wild, and that was before Breath of the Wild was even a thing. I even have it, like, in one of my shorts where I'm like, I swear, he's not supposed to look like this. You should check out that short. It's a little bit funny, because it's like a short I recorded at like 3 a.m. and I was going insane over something so silly. I debated on giving him different color clothes because he normally wears green, and that has been like the thing that had stayed constant with him, as he always wore green. But with the red hair, it looks kind of Christmassy, but I think I chose a green that didn't really make it seem Christmassy. And I also tried to make his hair more of like a dark red, like more like Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, but it doesn't look like that at all because I didn't put nearly enough darkness to it. Like, I think it needed more of a brown mid-tone and not a red one to make it look like that. So, yet again, his hair is a slightly different color than what I usually color it as. I decided to do like separate pieces of clothing just to show it off because his arm is completely covering up the corset I drew around him, and also like you can only see up to his thighs, so I wanted to draw the boots in. And I thought maybe putting the back of the hoodie, crop top, shoulder cover, I don't even know what to call that thing because it doesn't even like cover the nips, you know? But I thought it'd be interesting to put the back of that to show that there's a hood on it. Now, I did combine outfits, like, I went on Pinterest, I'm like, okay, alternative outfits, and none of them look anything like any of my references because I combined so many different elements to everything that I drew. So I can't show you guys, like, an actual reference for it. And, I was struggling with all the different blacks and, like, dark colors. That's why I wanted to throw the green in there, just so there was, like, some kind of contrast going on. And I did color pick based off of a reference when I colored with Copic markers, and my Ohuhu markers did not dry the same as they looked on the swatch sheet on this paper, so he is a bit darker than normal. I would say he's a nice skin tone, like it's not a bad one, it's just he looks a little crispy compared to how I normally color him. I do give him a slightly more like Korean kind of skin tone generally, but I think it's a bit too dark for what he usually looks like. But it's really not that far off. I also like to use like pinks and stuff on like the cheeks, shoulders, elbows, and fingertips just to make it like any of the characters I draw look like they have some life to them. And then I use a really nice, shiny, metallic pen to go over all, like, the studs and the spikes and stuff. Honestly, I kind of can't stand how I drew his one hand, the one that's down. I think I needed to really sit there and redraw it a couple of times instead of just settle on what I had done, but by the time I was getting to this in the day, I was like, it's good enough, I gotta move on. And then I just re-ink everything with thicker lines and like a more steady hand, like I usually do at the end of each drawing here. But this time I do decide to add some hair shines into his hair. I know he already has like a red highlight, but I feel like it wasn't quite highlighty enough, if that makes any sense. So you'll see me grab a jelly roll. Oh my god. Jelly rolls, am I right? To put some more highlights in his hair, and I also use it to like fix up some areas, but I don't think I kept that in the edit. And then I cut it all out. And I didn't forget the fishnet, I just forgot to do it before I cut it out. So I guess technically I did forget to do the fishnet. I'm glad I didn't forget to do it because, you know, that's like a huge part of like goth and alt fashion. And also you'll notice I moved the angle around with his arm because that's how fishnet usually works, is it like moves with the body and isn't like a constant pattern. So the tricky part was going around his elbow to make it look like it was still going the right direction with the other set of lines I had to do. So I figured out a way to make both of the boots fit by putting them on this page instead. But that meant I had to cut off his luscious thighs to fit under the prompt here. RIP. But here that one is. So let's see what the next prompt is, and it is Which Jewelry? Draw the coolest kind. Now, I did struggle with this one a lot. I actually, didn't want to keep recording because I was struggling with this one so much. It wasn't because I couldn't come up with what to draw. It was how to present it, I guess, is the best way to say it. I knew I wanted to draw crystal jewelry, but I just didn't know what to do with it on the page. Like, I end up just having it hanging down into the frame. But at first I kind of played with the idea of having it around crystals, like it hanging off of crystal chunks and stuff. But I kind of settled on it hanging into the frame. Now you saw I grabbed a book, and it's a sticker book. It's my apothecary sticker book. And I grabbed all different kinds of crystals from that book and turned them into necklaces as well. I thought it was an interesting concept to turn stickers into jewelry on the page. However, I don't think I quite executed it that well. I do feel like it looks really plain in the end. I wish I had taken more time to work on this after I came up with that concept, but that took me all day to figure out what to do. So much so that I actually did the other prompt coming up before I did this prompt. I don't know if it's super obvious, if you could see through the paper at all, or see the wiggles in the page where the other prompt is glued into the book behind it. But yeah, I actually did this one last. Which is fine, because that gave me a chance to come up with a better concept than doing nothing. Now, I did draw in a necklace I showed at the beginning, and I didn't address it. I think it's a sunstone moon shape thingy. I could be wrong. I used to have a book with all of my crystals I had in it, and I can't find it, so I am not 100% certain on what that moon is anymore. But sunstone sounds familiar, so that's why I'm saying that's what it could be. I have a lot of other crystal necklaces and stuff. I just was at a point in the day where I didn't want to draw anymore, which is why the sticker idea came into play. I'm like, oh, well, I can kind of get the same idea across if I just use stickers instead. And for this next prompt, I completely forgot to do the transition where I say what it is, because I did that prompt before I did the last prompt. Anyways, it's the cozy prompt. How do you feel cozy? Could it be an item, a snack, a hobby? I didn't even show you guys the sketch. That's how out of it and detached from everything I was. And for my coziness, it's obviously with Chi, my cat, a cup of coffee, and it's actually a mug I was using while I was recording this video. It's like a cat mug. I'll show it on screen. We used to have a matching puppy cup, but it broke, unfortunately. And also drawing on my iPad with a nice, I call it the soft blankie. That's how I call Chi over to sit with me on the bed sometimes, is I tell him I'm getting the soft blankie out because he really likes it. It's you know that fabric where it's super soft. He loves kneading on it. We have a yellow one that's like that too, but I usually get out the green one because it's bigger. And also that egg thing behind what is supposed to be me in a corner of my room is a pillow. I just drew it there because we needed something there. It was a big bare wall, and I do have an egg pillow on my bed. And of course, a nice rainy day outside the window. Now this is a pretty accurate scene here where we're sitting on my bed. It's a day bed. That's what that rail looking thing is that Chi is hanging on. It is against a window, and I can sit in the corner of my bed, and be at the window, essentially. However, I would not have my coffee mug there because the daybed is not very wide on that backing part there. I would put it on the table that is on the outer side of the bed. But, you know, I wanted to show it off in the cozy scene because that's what I like to drink whenever I'm trying to either get to work or just relax for a bit. For this, I decided to use my Neocolor 2s because, mostly because they're a little bit faster than the other mediums that I had in mind for this one, because I did not want editing to take forever because I'm, again, running behind on recording and editing. I'm hoping to be caught back up soon, but we'll see. I actually missed a video upload altogether because I finally got my computer back, by the way, and I did not have time to set it up because my mom had just gotten out of surgery, so she needed us to take care of her for like a week. So when I got my computer back, I was leaving. So I haven't had time to set it up entirely yet. And this is the first video recording of me being back in my room with my computer. If you want to know more about that, my computer is entirely a replacement. It is not the one I sent them. And they did not give me any info on what they did. And they didn't even tell me they were sending a replacement. They just sent it back. And I didn't know what I was turning it on to. And I was not like that upset about having to reset up my computer until I had to do it. Because the main thing is setting up like OBS for streaming and recording. I still haven't done that, and my Stream Decks, of course. Everything else is fine. Like, I have my files and stuff because Knock actually pulled them off of my computer for me. So, like, the video, the already recorded stuff is not lost or anything. And I had to reset up my mic, and I was really worried about that because I set up the mic in the other space I was using the same way my microphone was set up on the computer in my bedroom, and it sounded nothing alike, and it just comes down to the rooms are different acoustically wise. And the whole time I was just worried that I set something up wrong, and when I got the replacement computer back instead of getting my actual computer back, I was like, oh my god, I can't even check the settings. I don't know what I'm gonna do if it sounds wrong. But again, it turns out it was just the acoustics in the other room that is the problem here, and I think my mic actually sounds pretty good. Hopefully. I mean, I probably sound really tired because I am. But other than that, I think everything is pretty good. I thought the camera was having a problem, but I think I might be imagining it. Like, I just feel like it's not quite as smooth looking as I thought it looked, but I don't know. I think I'm just imagining it. So for the Neocolor 2s, I really don't have that many colors to them, so I had to mix colors that didn't really make sense, like the bright greens or the shadows on the blanket, and I mixed brown into the black to make it look like a warm grayish black color on the bed. I'm beginning to realize I really need gray. Like, this is not the first time I felt like I needed gray with the Neocolors, but this is the year of the purge for me, so I am trying my best to not buy any art supplies. Now, that being said, I did run out of 3 of my black acrylic pens in the middle of this, and that is the exception to not buying any art supplies, is black and white acrylic markers. But I'm gonna try my best to use up the ones I have left before I do that, because I do have like 2 other Posca ones that I could be using. They're just a smaller nib, so it's going to take 10,000 years to color a big area, but it's fine. I should use up what I no longer want to replace first. But it is a dream to have all the Neocolor 2 someday, and I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, which is unfortunate because I think I'm going to be using them a lot in Create This Book and How Much Art Can You Make, because they do fairly okay on this paper, and this paper is pretty thin for me to glue into the books so the books won't get too bulky. I think the only way I'm gonna get my hands on them is if they're gifted or something, and like, who can afford that, am I right? But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave you guys off to some more music because I am losing my voice and we're almost at the end anyways. Alright, it's time to go over what we did this time. And we started with create the ultimate fashion look you'd love to try. And I drew one of my OCs for it. The background is like shiny, but not at the same time. And then some of the stickers are coming up already. We did Which Jewelry, where I turned stickers into jewelry. And then last we did How Do You Feel Cozy? And of course I drew Chi. So I think out of the 3 prompts I did this week, the outfit one is my favorite. I think I put the most time and effort into it. Although I think it might be one of my least favorite prompts, if that makes any sense. Because I'm just not into fashion, and for the jewelry one, I just couldn't come up with an idea. And for this one, I feel like I didn't, like, color it good. Anyways, that's what we did this week. But that is going to be it from me. If you want to watch another How Much Art Can You Make video, you could tap the thumbnail here. If you want to catch up on anything you missed, you could tap the thumbnail here. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the cool YouTube things of commenting, liking, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!